Hello and welcome to this episode of Compensation Insider. Today, I would like to talk to you, give you some tips on how to organize your team. So once you become a component manager or senior manager or director, and you have a number of people reporting to you, there are a number of tips that I can share with you to help you make sure that you achieve the best outcome for the team and for each of the team members and for yourself. So the first tip that I would like to share is that you should update everyone on everything, which means that you hold regular meetings to tell the whole team at the same time about what's going on in the organization. It's not just about new work that is coming to them, but it's also what's happening in a certain division or a business unit or in a certain country. And why you want to do that? First of all, you want to do it with everybody at the same time so that there is inclusion. But also if they have questions that you can answer those questions by saying it to everybody at the same time. Obviously it saves you time than if you were to say it individually to each team member, and most importantly, it gives a sense of perspective to your team, and it helps them to place their work into the bigger context of the organization, and that might help them design or change something in how they're designing an incentive, in the kind of KPIs that they trace. They might come back to a certain manager and ask more questions about something and so on. So it's really important that you try and share as much information as you can with the team. The other thing that I would like to share is the method that we were using to set the component objectives for the year with my team in my last corporate role. So I had a small team there with 3 managers and 1 or 2 team members. And what we did is that in the beginning, we would have a big brainstorm together, okay, where we would say, what do we have to work on next year? And a number of those things were recurring things, you know, like, I don't know, participate to salary surveys, prepare board meetings, remuneration compensation committee meetings, these kind of things, and projects that we wanted to do and projects that we understood from the business, from the HR business partners, from the CEOs of the different directors or the CEOs of the different business units that we needed to work on, or things that were assigned to us from the group CEO. Then once we had done that, and we had agreed on those bigger projects, I would say to everybody, okay, I want you each to come back to me and tell me on which projects you would like to work on. And I will do the exercise as well. And then we will have another exercise all together where we will all discuss what you would like to work on, and we will assign those projects accordingly. So we had after 1 week later, when everybody had thought what they wanted to work on, we would have another meeting, and I had also done it on my side to prepare for each of them a number of projects or work to do. And what I did is I would ask them what they wanted to do, because hopefully, you know, I had some flexibility on what I thought would be good. And by asking them to say what they would like to work on and why they would like to work on, it was an opportunity for me to discover what they wanted to do, maybe assign to somebody that I would not have thought of. And if 2 of them wanted to work on the same projects, they could present to me why they wanted to do it, and I could make a decision, or maybe put them both to work on it or something like that. And the way that I distributed the objectives was to play to their strengths. So I would give them some assignments that were for comfort, you know, that they would feel comfortable that they can achieve it reasonably comfortable, and also comfortable for me that they would be able to achieve it. So I would feel good on the potential for success, and that would represent about 70 to 80% of their work. And then the other thing that I did is that I would put them on at least 1 project, maybe 2, that would make them stretch. Okay, so that would be something something new for them that they would do with me to supervise, and which would make them grow their skills and feel like they're growing their technical ability. The other thing that I did is that I made sure that I would organize what I called cross-fertilization. So what I did say that each of the three managers had to work with each of the non-managers for the employees to have exposure, first of all, to the whole team, so that they would not be only working with one of my managers, and for them to be exposed to different ways of teaching, to different types of projects, and also for the managers to see how it is that you can grow somebody, mentor them, and teach them how to do the work. And one of the things that I did is that I kept some of the projects for myself, for my personal growth, but also to distribute as a reward, in a way, as a top or high level project. Because once your team members become more advanced in their knowledge and so on, they want to take on those, high level, high visibility projects. They want to try new things. They want to demonstrate that they're ready. And for me as a manager, I've always said, if you're not replaceable, you're not promotable. I want to grow my team so that they can replace me one day, so that eventually I can move on and take on either another job or be promoted inside the organization. So that was a good way for us to organize the work. It worked really well because it was a collaborative process. I'm not saying that everybody was working 100% on the stuff that they wanted to work on, and they were 100% delighted. But I think it meant for them that they had a chance. It was not a random assignment of project. I tried to make sure that if somebody had been in charge of, supervising the salary surveys one year, they wouldn't have to necessarily do it the following year. They would be working on something else. So I kept the job more interesting for them. And because it was open in how we were discussing and coming to an agreement to who would be in charge of what on the different projects, it was very transparent. They could see that I was trying not to have play favorites, or to have one person who has only simple things, or, very comfortable, or on the opposite, very, very challenging, and they have no chance of reaching their objectives. And it worked very well. So I hope that this team will help you once you have your own team to see how you can distribute the work across the team. And even if the company does not have a strategic plan or has not communicated it to you, or even if the HR director has not told you as head of Comp and Ben what it is that we need to work on next year, you can take ownership of that. And I believe that this applies across any position. You can do that because you know the job and you can figure out what are the main things that you need to work on. And then obviously if there is something coming up during the year because the organization is changing, then you change. But this is a good way to organize the work for the year, and even in circumstances when the organization is not very clear where it wants to go. So I hope this helps. And if you have some tips to share on how to manage the team, don't hesitate to leave a comment. And I look forward to seeing you next week in the next episode of Compensation Insider. Thank you very much.